Going live in 3, 2, 1. Settle. Still not live. What the fuck? Alright, maybe we gotta reload it because this shit is acting. Está loco. Mierda. Alright. We got action. I got action. Anyway, guys. So, we're back here with another one, podcast number 189. I wanted to do this one, and I really just wanted to talk about some of the things that everybody goes through with their significant other. And you know what's so funny? I thought about this because I was talking to my brother, was texting me. And he was asking me, oh, did you like my page or something like that? And he's telling me how his I guess his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, she was spying on his page. And she had did something that he didn't like. Hold on a second. Shit. My bad. Alright, so she had did something that he didn't like. And I think it was, she went to a party and she was out with her whole friends. And you know, he really wasn't feeling that whole situation. And I guess it resulted in their breakup. But, you know, a lot of people go through this. And I see this a lot. And then where you have a lot of situations where, you know, you'll have a girl or your girlfriend, you know, you don't want her to do something. And then when you make a request from her not to do it, she'll turn around and call you controlling. Like, oh, you're too controlling. You're too this and you're too that. And I think it's funny. Because women, I guess they just don't understand with words, and they have to see actions, right? They have to see actions. For example, you'll have a lot of guys that say, well, I don't want you wearing that mini skirt that has your butt cheeks hanging out. Oh, why are you trying to control me? Why are you trying to do this? Why are you trying to do that? You know, as a man, you're going to say, well, I know this is going to bring a certain type of attention, right? I know that, you know, if you wear Daisy Dukes with your butt cheeks hanging out, you're going to get a lot of guys that talk to you. And I don't think women think about this logically. You know, you don't think that men are going to approach you if you're wearing explicit clothing? Like I had seen a video when a girl was like, oh, I think it's misogynistic that I can't go out after 12 by myself. Dude, what do you mean you think it's misogynistic? No, men, you have predators out there. It's not safe for you. How is that misogynistic? Oh, well, men should know. No, you have people that are out there that are like that, that would do that. But in a woman's mind, oh, I should be able to do it. I should be able to do what I want and shouldn't. No, we can't stop the people that are crazy, that are malicious, that have bad intent. So if you do something and your man is like, listen, I don't like the fact that you're doing that shit, and I'm going to need you not to do it. And, you know, a woman be like, well, oh, I think you're controlling. I think you're this. I think you're that. And the solution is just to, you know, show with your actions, right? Because if you say, well, I don't want you doing this, I don't want you doing that, and, you know, this comes off a bit controlling, it seems like you're trying to be controlling, and most of the time, I feel like with me, the way that I filter women out, I really don't run into this issue that much. I don't really run into the issue of having a hard time with women doing this, that, and the third, but you never want to come off too controlling. And then you run into this big issue where it's like, when you take that laid back approach, you're like, oh, well, I don't really like that. And then most of the time, if you tell your girl, oh, I don't like this, I don't like you doing that, I don't like you wearing this, a lot of the time she'll have respect for you and be like, you know what? Okay, well, I'll try this, I'll try that. Perfect example. I had seen, what was it? It was on Twitter. And what's this girl named? Lotto? Lotto, right? Yeah, there we go. Lotto. I don't know who she's dating. I don't know who the hell this girl's dating. She's always talking about my man, my man, my man. I have never seen a picture with her in anybody who her man is. But the point is, she had put up a text message, And in the text message, she put up, oh, it was a picture she was gonna post on the internet, like on like some social media, right? Maybe Instagram. And she was asking for his approval. Do you think this is appropriate to post or something to that nature? And he was like, yeah, go ahead, post it. Like, you look good. He was gassing her up. But that's a perfect example of when your girl has a certain amount of respect for you, she's not going to just go and do it, right? She's going to come to you. She's going to want your approval. But that's because you're coming off a certain type of way to begin with, right? You're coming off a certain type of way to begin with. And so she's going to have this certain type of respect for you. But some guys don't get that. Some guys don't understand. And I get it. I was in that position once where I was like, no, I don't like this. We're not doing that. That's the end of that. And if you don't like it, fuck you. Then it's my way or the highway, right? And that's how I used to be. And in some things, I'm still like that. But you have to understand your delivery is everything. If you come off to a female saying, oh, I don't want you doing it. Oh, who you think you don't talk to me? You know, a lot of women these days are unruly. They're not like these other women back in the days. You go back 30, 40, 50, 60 years, right? Because there's this illusion of independence. And when I say illusion, it is an illusion because, you know, to say that you don't need a man, or it's nonsense. You do. Even if it's not financially, you do. Even outside of procreation, you do. So you give up. They have this illusion nowadays, and plus there's this thing pumped into society. You know, men and women are the same, but we're not. So you have a lot of women. If you come off and your delivery is too much, you know, you're gonna get a lot of resistance anyway. So this is what I tell guys: you need to have a solution for this like confrontation of, oh, well, I don't want you doing this, I don't want you doing that. And usually how I've handled it and how I've told guys to handle it for, you know, for some time now is, like I said, women don't usually respond to words. You have to show actions, right? And when you show actions, that usually comes off a different way. So for example, if, you know, on the first level, if you don't want your girl going out to the club at night, you don't want her doing all these things, like you don't want to go into the bar, you don't want to go to the club, you don't want her doing all these things, and you say, well, I have respect for you, and you may not do some things that piss her off. Like, say for example, I don't want you hanging out with girls alone, or I don't want you going to that party if that bitch is there and you know I don't like her. All right, cool, I respect that. I won't go to that party because it's a mutual respect thing. I have respect for you because I care about you and I love you. But then a lot of the times you'll have your girl and she'll be like, well, you'll say something similar, or a very similar situation, you know, analogous to what she didn't like. You say, well, I don't want you going out to the club. I don't want you going out to this club. Oh, but that's different. Oh, I'm just going with my friends. We just going to enjoy ourselves. But you'd be like, well, you told me not to do this one thing. And I said, okay, but no, it's different. And that's always, oh, it's different. No, the fuck, it's not different, right? It's not different. And that's really just them being unfair. Like, say, for example, I don't want you wearing that. Oh, but no, this is different. I'm not looking for attention. This is for me. You know, that's their favorite shit to say. Oh, no, I'm not looking for attention. This is for me, right? And if you got a real manipulator, she'll be, oh, no, daddy, this is for me. I'm looking good for me. You know, I only ever look good for you. I only ever want your attention. This is for me, daddy. And then she'll probably come kiss you and try to give you some neck so you calm down. But, but you got to be able to see through. You got to stay strong. But no, the point is actions. Actions speak louder than words. So a lot of the times you'll say something and it'll fall upon deaf ears, meaning it won't resonate, and she'll still continue to do it, and then maybe it'll start an argument, and next thing you know, you're being controlling, or either you're insecure. When you know you're not insecure, it's a respect thing. You care about somebody. You don't want them out there any type of way. You don't want them being exposed any type of way. You don't want anything bad happening to them. And if you care and you actually genuinely love somebody, you're going to show it. And men, that's how that comes off. Sometimes some people may come off a little overprotective, some may not. Well, the solution for this is you have to show with actions. And some people may say it's petty, but it's a lesson to be learned. So for example, if you don't want her going out late night at clubs, right? And there was this one in particular thing that she asked you not to do, and you respected and you didn't do it. And you tell her this. You say, well, you know what? When you asked me to do this, I didn't do it. So if she continues, you have to almost, as an example, you don't argue about it. You don't say, oh, you know what? I'm going to go back to doing this. Oh, you're petty. No. You just do it. You do that one thing and you do it consistently. And then when it comes up, you say, well, hey, didn't I ask you not to do that? Didn't I ask you not to do this? And it's the same thing. And then a lot of the times from there, you can see, right? For example, me personally, I remember, and this is an example that I gave on the last podcast where my car was, I have more than one car. And then one of my cars was out of service and the other one is, I just wasn't using it for whatever reason. I'm not getting into that. It's personal reasons. It was like some tickets. It was like crazy amount of tickets, almost like $3,000 in tickets, and I didn't want to pay it for some time, whatever. So I had borrowed, I had borrowed a car from Shorty, and she was just like, well, you know what? The tolls, this is the tolls on it. It's getting a lot of tolls, and the tolls are expensive. It's like $200 some dollars. I was like, well, I can pay it for you. I can help you pay however you want me to do. I can pay it all. It doesn't matter. She was like, oh, no, I don't want your help. She was just being prideful, and it was dumb. I don't want you using the truck. Okay. And, to come see her, I ultimately have to, sometimes I have to go through a toll. And so, a week later, she's like, oh, I miss you. Can you come? I was like, no, because my car's still not on the road. And you told me you didn't want me using your truck. So I'm not going to see you this week. And she was like, wow, you don't care? No, this is your words. This is what you wanted, right? So it's almost like holding her accountable for the things that she said and the things that she did. Now, I know if you look at it from a certain perspective, some people may say, well, I think that's just petty, right? I think that's petty that, that you would actually go even lower and do it. No, you're not doing it out of spite, right? You're not doing, because she doesn't like this and she's doing the same thing, so I'm going to do it. No, you're giving an example. You're saying, well, I'm going to do this just as a demonstration. Because a lot of times you may say it, but when you're actually doing it, then they see and realize that, all right, this is a little unfair. I don't like when he does this to me, so maybe I'm not going to do it. And sometimes, it really shouldn't be an issue. These shouldn't be issues. Most women understand that, like, all right, well, if we're exclusive, we're exclusive. If you do this, I do that. If you do, that's usually the energy most women give. Well, if you do this to me, I'm going to do that. And that's, even sometimes that's a problem for men. So it really shouldn't be an issue. But if it continues, and if you have a problem with somebody, and, or your significant other, and they're always doing that, and it never stops, then maybe you need to reconsider. But even before you even get to all of that, learn to filter people out. You got to learn to filter people out. And this is why I say all the time, if you learn to filter somebody out, meaning from the beginning, like, if people have certain habits, like on the last podcast when I talked about, I forgot the guy that played for the Lakers, the NBA player, and his wife created the OnlyFans, right? And she was like, oh, well, you know who I was before you got with me. And she made that OnlyFans without telling him. Like, don't be so thirsty all the time. Some of you guys are so fucking thirsty, and you just accept anything. And you'll just take any type of woman just because she bad or she looks good. No, you have to look a few levels deeper than that. You have to look at her characteristics, look at her traits, look at the things that she does. Does she go partying every weekend? A lot of guys complain, I don't want you partying every weekend. I don't want you doing this. Don't put her in a relationship, right? Like I said the last time, even if you don't like it, right? But she looks good and you guys are having sex and the sex is great, it's amazing, but you don't necessarily want to wife her, don't wife her. Eventually she's going to come to you about that. That's going to be addressed. We've been talking for some time now. Do you want a relationship? Are we wasting time? I'm like, yeah, I would love a relationship, but remember those things that I complained about that you do that I don't like? Yeah, that. And that's the thing that I'm afraid of. That's not something that I want to deal with in a committed relationship when I know that's not something that I'm going to deal with long term. And it's going to end up in a breakup. Right? And sometimes that may be a solution. Sometimes that person may work on it. Sometimes person may work on it before they actually get in this relationship. Not saying you're being controlling, but, if you're going to the club every night and that's not something you're comfortable with, right? Because it's single people shit. If you go to a club every weekend, most likely that's where you find single people, and single people doing single things. And 8 or 9 times out of 10, somebody single is gonna try to talk to your girl, right? Or you're gonna be she's gonna put herself in a compromising situation. Oh, I'm going out with my friends though. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about these men. I'm going to have a good time for me. You know? And it's one thing if she says, you know, why don't you come with me? You know, that's a different story. You know, and she's inviting you with you. You know, but if you know you're not a clubbing person, and you know you don't go out, you should, you know, checks and balances. She likes to go out every weekend. I don't like to go out. And this should weigh in a decision whether you want to be with that person in a relationship or not. You got to think about it. It's like so logical, but people are so like fucking adverse to making hard decisions. So adverse to making hard decisions. Nobody wants to make hard decisions. But I think a lot of people just aren't disciplined. And there's levels to it. There's levels to it. And these are the case scenarios where I say it's better to have one girl than 5. Because having one girl will help you stay focused. Having one girl will, you know, you're not worried about this girl. You're not worried about splitting up your time. You know, you're not worried about dividing up your time, especially for like fighters, or if you do like some type of sport or a craft that requires a lot of your time, especially when you want to better yourself. And you know, these are the things that like having one girl is more beneficial for, because you got 2 and 3 girls, 2 and 3 wives, or whatever the case may be. And you got to go tend to all of them, but you need to spend about, you know, 80 hours a week on your craft, or 80 hours a week on your job. That's hard to divide up your time. Then you gotta go lay down with all of them, right? You gotta go please all of them. That shit is energy too. Trust me when I tell you, I've been there. It's not fun when you're tired. You know, you waking up, and sometimes it's like, all right, I want you to wake up and do this, and wake up with, you know, with me in your mouth. Right? Like, you wake up to some head or some shit like that, but it's like, yo, I'm tired. I want to sleep. You know what I'm saying? My body is exhausted. But, you know, in these type of cases, it's definitely better for you to have one than many. But I think in most cases, guys don't know how to filter out women. Learn how to filter out women. Learn to do that. And you won't run into a lot of these issues. But a lot of guys don't have any discipline. And another thing is, fuck the narrative. Fuck the narrative. A lot of guys are so fucking weak. Some of you guys are just so bozos. You get into the weak narrative. Oh, you're misogynistic, or you're this, you're that. Oh, my body, my choice. All right, bitch, your body, your choice. Go get with a motherfucker that's gonna let you do that. Oh, body count doesn't matter. Okay, well, I don't want a girl that's slept with a whole bunch of people. I'm not trying to debate. This ain't no fucking debate. I'm not gonna debate about it. That's not what I want. End of story. I don't have to give into it. Now, women will try to, some people try, not just women, because it's men doing it too. I see a lot of weirdos on the internet debating about, oh yeah, if a girl has sex with 1 billion people, it's okay. She can have sex with anybody. Meanwhile, that girl is probably a virgin. They never even been with this. Straight hypocrisy, right? But it doesn't matter. You don't have to give into that. And don't allow yourself to be manipulated, because the narrative is, oh, you know, I want my girl to just sleep with it. Fuck that. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, well, you should want what you want for yourself for that person. No, fuck all that. If you don't want that and you don't have to do that, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. If you've been with women or whatever and that's still not something you want, you don't want a woman that's been with a lot of men, so the fuck what? Who cares? Fuck the narrative. And a lot of you guys give into this stupid ass narrative. Oh, because everybody's saying this and saying that, you feel as if you have to have some mental fortitude. Don't give in to the weird shit. And just like, be strong. But back to the main topic is, don't always try to come off controlling. You don't always have to do it that way. And I think an even more underlying problem is a lot of you guys care a little too much. A lot of you guys care a little too much. And when you care a little too much, you know, you get a different type of reaction. You get a different person when you care just a little bit less, right? Because you get overzealous, you get a little too anxious. A lot of the times, you know, you become this person that's just, well, you know, oh well, I don't want to lose her. I don't want her to leave me. And women can sense that, right? Women can sense that. Oh, you know, when you say, well, she's mad at you, she's not going to talk to you, so you go and You try to baby her and say, babe, don't stop. Why are you not talking? You blow up her phone and she's ignoring you. You've given her so much more power, and your situation ultimately becomes worse. Because some women do take advantage. And then slowly, after a while, her love for you starts to dwindle because it's not even. It's unbalanced. Remember and understand that there is never a 50-50 relationship. It does not exist. Somebody will always love somebody a little more than the other. And I'm not saying that it can't be close to balanced. I'm not saying that it can't. But in most cases, that's not what you're going to find if we're being real about it. I'm not saying it's impossible. But in most cases, you're not going to find that. You're never going to find that. You're never going to find these situations where, oh, I love her just as much as she loves me, and she doesn't violate, and she's respectful, and we never have any issues. Those things never really happen. They don't really happen that way. And that's what you guys really need to understand. Those things don't really happen. But understand that sometimes you just got to keep a balance. And you don't always have to fight and argue about everything. Right? But anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe to Patreon. I've been posting a lot more on Patreon. I haven't been so much on YouTube and TikTok. I don't know. I need to update and upgrade my phone some fucking way. I don't know why. What's wrong with my phone? And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, KB the Don, link in the bio. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at the Fisherman K. I think it's the Fisherman KB. Either the Fisherman or the Fisherman KB. But yeah, hit the link in the bio and make sure you get the ebook. There's one free one. It's the Intro to Relationship Dynamics, and there is Make Her Obsessed. That's a good one. A lot of game and a lot of good technique in there. But most of that stuff is always on Patreon. It's it's a plethora of information. It's like a giant library. The guys who actually put in the work, they talk about how their life has changed. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast, which we are recording on right now. Link in the bio, Spotify podcast. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll holla at you.